Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Johnson. I'm the owner and operator of Firearms Training Facility in beautiful Cape Coral, Florida. Got a little static here, dude. Just give me a few seconds here to get this out of you. I hope you're doing wonderful this evening. If you don't know who I am, I'm an owner and operator of a training facility in Cape Coral, Florida. And we specialize in you. We specialize in the first time students. We specialize in the first time people who are wanting to learn to shoot a pistol. And with the economy and the political atmosphere we're in right now, everyone wants to get a firearm. So I'm here to help you, support you in any way I can. We've got a great show for you this evening. I thought we'd do something kind of fun, and that is movie guns. All the little spiffs and spoofs and everything else that's out there available right now in these movie genres and what they do with firearms. So I took some of the things I always question when my wife and I are going to the movies. And I always say, look at that grip, or look at that stance, or look at this, or look at that, look what happened there. And I think it's going to be fun. What I want you to do, if you can for me, is comment what your favorite gun movie there is out there, and what is one of your pet peeves when you're watching a movie, or what you wanted to you question on it. I have two things here. We talk about the physical, the 10 the 10 spoofs I think are funny, and then from there we're going to discuss bullets and impact of bullets and what they do to people as well in the movies, which I think is kind of funny. We're getting a little bit of buffering today. I don't know what this deal. I've actually got a new software system in, and it's still doing it. So I got no clue. So let's go ahead and get started here. So welcome to the world of Hollywood, where the guns are magical, bullets are unlimited, and physics take a back seat to today's movies. They're going to talk about a lot of different stuff that will uh, you'll always question this little bit here and there. So let me go ahead and widescreen here myself. That's I like that. All right, so this isn't in any order or anything else. Like, and it has nothing to do with one movie or another movie. You got to make that decision. It's something you think. But I thought with the cool thing, we're going to dive into those so unrealistic gun myths that you've seen thousands of times on the big screen. And spoiler alert, none of those are remotely true, but you see them almost every time in a movie, which is kind of a fun little deal. I thought the first one I would go to is silencers. You know, there's a couple things that people don't realize. When you slow a bullet down to a point where it's got to go below the speed of sound, the trajectory and everything changes. So these big sniper movies with the guys on one side of the building and he is shooting 2 miles and with the suppressor on there, and it is he shoots the bad guy right in the forehead, and there's no rapport at all because it's been silenced. It's just kind of a funny thing. Or they get the bag out and the rifle is in this little box, and they put the scope on, and they put it every time you take a scope off a gun or put a scope on a gun, you got to recite the stupid thing in. But they don't have to in the movies. That's dead on every time. So that's kind of one. The myth is in the movies that the silencer suppresses the bullet so low that nobody can hear it. And I don't know if you know what speed of sound is, but a bullet traveling above the speed of sound is going to crack when it busts the speed of sound. And anything that it does, it's going to make a pop noise. It may not make a pop noise at the gun, but it's definitely going to make a pop noise out there at once it meets the 1,000 foot threshold. So, yes, they are quieter than a true bullet. No, you're not going to be able to shoot those inside your house and not wear earmuffs. They're going to be noisy. And secondary, it is going to adjust the trajectory a little bit to make the gun not be as accurate as you want to be. And secondary, you shoot 8 rounds out of a can or a suppressor. You're not reaching up and unscrewing it to like James Bond or one of those places and put that thing back in your pocket and walk away like you're the spy of all spies, because that will not work at that point in time. It's going to be a lot more hotter than you would think. So the reality suppressor reduces the noise, but it doesn't eliminate it. Gunshots are still loud and can be often be heard from distances. And like I said before, they're going to be very hot. It's going to be super, super hot. You could almost smell those when guys hear shooting ARs or anything that's got a high velocity bullet. That can cannot be touched if you put 50 rounds through it without wearing some kind of upper mitt or glove on it to uh, make it cool enough for you to put. And you can't put that in your bag. It's got to be held outside your bag until it cools off, or it'll melt your bag. So, well, that's the first deal. Uh, the next one is I love the whole movie. So we've seen it in a lot of them where the bullet causes a massive explosion. Unless it's an incinerating round, like in the military, uh, you could shoot bullets into a gas tank, and the fluid in the gas tank will slow the bullet down. Remember, gas is flammable, but the ignition comes from flame from the fumes, not from the liquid itself. So, the myth is shooting a car's gas tank or a propane tank will cause an immediate explosion. Reality: while the bullet can puncture the tank and it and explode, is highly unlikely without an ignition source. Now, obviously, we always see the little spark that the movies try to solve some of that for us, but we know as well as anybody else that bullets all the time, and we're not running in any kind of situation like that. So bullets cause massive explosions. Like I said before, unless they're incinerating around, it is not going to do that. Unless you're shooting a flamethrower or anything else like that, there would not be a massive explosion. This is a fun one. My wife and I always question this thing in regards to the revolvers or the semi-automatics or the shotguns or whatever you're shooting, or the AR-15s. You never see too many people reloading in a scenario. They can't reload the weapon. So I think it's kind of funny. Uh, myth characters rarely reload, and it seems endless bullets. It's that $10,000 10,000 round magazine that's in the gun, or that 6 shooter that actually holds 36 rounds, or one of those things like the cowboy movies where they never reloaded, they never put bullets in the gun. It was kind of a funny thing that when we were kids, to count how many bullets the cowboy was firing without the reloading. So it was kind of a unique thing. The character really reloads and seems to have endless bullets. Real firearms are limited magazine capacity, and reloading is a consistent necessity in real life gunfights. Now, you watch some of the John Wick movies and some of the other movies out there. If I was going to pick a movie for you guys to watch that had some realistic training and some realistic time behind the pistol, it would be John Wick, because going to that movie, I physically, as a firearms instructor that had no shooting bad guys experience, but knowing a lot of drawing from the holster and air racking and all the stuff that he used in that movie, it was pretty impressive. One, two, three, and four were, well, four is, I don't think four is out yet. One, two, three is out. No, maybe four was out. Uh, all of those were good. I would tell you that what's his name, Keanu Reeves, and all the people who work in those movies really, really work very hard to get all that stuff down pat therefore it makes it look realistic. Um, but even in that scenario, there was a lot of bullets being fired in those movies without people reloading. A lot of stuff was being done uniquely wise. Number four is guns knock people down. And this is kind of one of those deals we're going to caveat off onto another list here about what bullets do and what bullets don't do. But you've seen the movie where the guy shoots the guy with the shotgun, and he goes flying across the room like there is. He got hit by a massive load of tungsten steel and knocked him out of his feet and all that stuff like that. In relative terms, that doesn't really happen. Most people get shot by a bullet. They don't even realize they're shot by a bullet until after the fact. Obviously, if you took a full eight or nine rounds of buckshot right to the chest at 6 feet, I'm sure it would do some massive control damage there. But I'm not sure what you see in the movies is real about being knocked down as far as to get knocked down. Now, real firearms have a limited. A person shot by a gun flies backwards dramatically. This is the thing in the movies, that kind of cool looking and everything else like that. While bullets can cause significant injury, it won't throw someone across the room. Physics doesn't work like that. It's one of those deals where, I've shot a lot of deer and I've shot a lot of hogs and I've shot a lot of, none of those actually, with bow, arrow, with rifle, with shotgun, none of them instantly fell over unless you're shooting them in the head, obviously. That's a total different story. That's a collapsible thing that shuts the brain down, that shuts the nervous system down, that shuts everything down. But there's terms and areas where I've shot things in the head before and they still ran. So it's about where the bullet impacts it, if anything else like that. And then number 5 would be instant death with a single gunshot. Yes, this can happen. It happens all over the world. It happens continuously, but it's very uncommon. I know a story of a guy who him and his daughter were in a hotel room in North Fort Myers. They sold their house early. Some guys came to the door, busted in. Dad was on the bed. He shot the guy in the face with a 45. And the guy got in his car, drove all the way across the bridge, about a mile and a half, before he actually passed. With a bullet with a 45 ACP above his eyeball. So sometimes you have the adrenaline, and sometimes that bullet didn't do what it needed to do. So it's kind of it happens. That's a true story there. So while that's being said, let's talk about what I thought this is kind of a good caveat to come with the what bullets do. Number 1 is the instant death from a single shot. The character often drops immediately after being shot, especially with a single bullet to the chest or head. In real life, people can survive for minutes, even hours after being shot, where they're hit and how quickly they receive medical attention. Human body is surprisingly resilient. This is 100% true. I'm taking it back to a deer or anything else. I've actually shot a hog before, and maybe 3 weeks prior to, he took an arrow, or he took a cut across the back. I mean, these animals can live a lot longer, so can people. All right, number 2 is the shot to the shoulder is no big deal. We've seen this movie, right? We've seen this guy takes one to the shoulder. The character often takes a bullet to the shoulder, shrugs it off, and keeps fighting with minimal pain and impairment. We've all seen this. We've all seen this movie, right? In reality, a gunshot to shoulder can cause shattered bones, severed nerves. It can cause significant blood loss, making it difficult or impossible to continue to use that arm. Enhanced, keep in mind, you need to train with both hands. You need to train one handed with your dominant hand. You need to train with your non dominant hand. Because most people are going to be using their dominant hand in a gunfight. And if you lose that in your gunfight, you need to make sure you understand how to use your non dominant hand and shoot the weapon that way as well. Yeah. uh, Number three, headshots are instantly fatal. Obviously, it could be gunshots, gut shots. Someone being shot in the gut are slow but inevitable death. A character who's shot in the abdomen are often shown suffering a slow and painful death with no hope of survival. Reality, uh, gut shots can be very serious and require immediate medical attention. Moderate medicine has made it possible to survive and recover a abdominal gunshot wound depending on the damage and the treatment. Getting shot is a minor setback. Oh yeah, okay. Well, it's only a Tuesday. Don't worry about that. I'll wipe it off. We'll get going next week. Yeah, you don't want to be shot by anything, but it's not a minor setback. Some action heroes seem to get shot and just keep going as if they're a mere inconvenience and often use the injury to fuel their determination. Uh, Arnold Schwarzenegger, maybe. Rambo got a couple before. We've all seen that, right? No, there's been a bunch of them. Bruce Willis. I mean, all these Die Hard movies. He used the gunshot as fuel. Myth: some action heroes seem to get shot and keep going. Reality: getting shot causes shock, extreme pain, massive blood loss, leading to incapacitation or death if not treated quickly. Even minor wounds can lead to complications if not properly addressed. Number six, a through and through is what they always say. It's a through and through. That means it went through. It didn't really hit anything. It just went through and through. You're all right. Just rub some dirt in it. You'll be okay. In the movies, the gunshot wound often looks small and clean hole and minimal blood or visible trauma. And keep in mind, even if the gun has a hollow point in it, it's going to go like a finger and come out like a thumb, and it's coming out pretty fast. So it's going to rip some tear and it's going to do some damage. In reality, gunshot wound can be messy. The entry and exit wounds are different sizes, extensive bleeding, significant tissue damage. Real gunshots can cause large wounds that are often for traumatic and what they are shown on screen. Obviously, can't show you a real one, but obviously that's going to be. Uh, you can easily walk off a leg shot. Every movie I've ever seen, guy gets shot in the leg, got shoot in the foot, a shoot in the ass. Remember, Forrest got I got shot in the buttocks, and he's carrying his buddy on his shoulders, Lieutenant Dan or whatever his name was, and the bubble gum shop guy, and then Forrest got shot in the buttocks. Yeah, so, and he lived to hear about it, right? Characters getting shot in the leg continue running, jumping, and otherwise moving with little difficulty. Reality: shot in the leg has it can severe arteries, shatter bones, damage nerves, make it almost impossible to move normally, and potentially lead to life-threatening blood loss. Yeah, if you hit that femoral artery, you ain't making it, man. Yeah, that's what one of the real problems about that big artery down your leg. You are very close to almost dead there within a few minutes because it's connected right to the pump and nothing's stopping it from bleeding. So that's kind of a weird one there. um, bullet bullet removal is quick and simple. Yeah, just get on the table. We're gonna have a vet do it. Remember all the movies, John Wick, all those guys. They always had the veterinarians take the bullets out because when you go to the hospital with a bullet hole, they have to report it. You go to a vet, who are they going to report it to? So the vet lays on the table and they take everything out and they go in and they clean it all out and they give him some pet tranquilizers and let it all heal itself, right? They take the pocket knife, or if it's the movies, or if they take a pair of pliers and a pair of needle nose, they reach in and grab it and just pull it right out of there. It makes a pop noise when it comes out. And they drop it in the pan. And ping! I got it. I got it. So he gives him some whiskey. He drinks some whiskey. Then they take a hot knife in the fire and they come over and they cauterize the wound. I'm sure that probably works, honestly, because it's going to really cause, back in the Civil War days, it wasn't the musket balls that were causing all the problems. It was the doctors trying to solve the problems and not washing their hands in between each patient. And then there had no way of, cauterizing or anything else like that. So they did a lot of amputations because it was cleaner and safer for the guys instead of trying to go in and repair something. Character often digs bullets out of their body with a knife and removing them easily and then patching themselves up a little more than a bandage. Yeah, yeah. We've seen that movie, haven't we? That guy pulls the big Bowie knife out and he just digs it out of there. And, that's what causes most of the. Talking to a paramedic one time, he was an ER doctor and he saw a lot of gunshots and he was here in the store and I asked him about, what do you do? What do you do if someone's got like 3 or 4 bullets in them? You know what they told me? Yeah, we leave them in. It's unless they're right to the edge of the skin, we do more damage by going to get them than to just leave them there and then try to clean up, cauterize, and stop the bleeding as quick as possible. And the body will find it as a foreign object and encapsulate it where it won't cause much more problems for you. So a lot of people that you walking around with bullets in them that they don't go get unless it's actually positively has to go get it. They don't do it because does more damage that way. Secondary going to get it than leaving it in. And the myth: removing a bullet is a complex surgical procedure. Doing it improperly can cause severe damage, infections, and further complications. Often, bullets are left in the body. It is safer. That's pretty cool. Yeah, he said most of the time, unless that bullet is x-rayed and you could go in very easily and get it back, you're not going to go in after. On this list, number 9 is bulletproof vest makes you invincible. There's a guy in Spain who owns a company that he makes bulletproof vests, and it's on the internet if you want to go to it. I don't know the name of the company, but he has every employee that works for him get shot with a 38 revolver because you have to believe in the product to make the product. Imagine going to your employee first day opening. Welcome to the team. Step outside here. Put this vest on, and let me shoot you with this 38 to make sure you believe in our product. I would think, time out, big boy. That ain't me. But yeah, he had a guy. I'm watching now YouTube. The guy that was interviewing him talked about how he had a bunch of clients, and one of the big clients he had was Steven Seagal, and he made a bunch of bulletproof jackets and things like that. And the reporter got to wear Steven Seagal's leather jacket while this guy shot the reporter with that jacket on, and I'm sure it hurt. He didn't. I mean, no, it didn't look like it got away, but I can imagine the bulletproof vest may stop the bullet, but it doesn't stop the speed of the bullet, and that can break bones, and that can really cut into your ribs, and it could cause a lot more damage. Most of the soft armored bulletproof vests are for 44 mag and down. Taking a 44 mag at point blank, that wouldn't be good. You're not breathing right afterwards, I'll tell you that. You'll be trying to catch your breath, and it may even take the wind out of you enough to knock you out for a little bit. Uh, Wearing a bulletproof vest in the movies means you're completely protected from all harm, and getting shot while wearing one barely slows you down. Oh, yeah, we've seen that, haven't we? It gets two or three. Now, I mean, if you ever watched that, the bank robbery in the 80s with the two brothers that had wore bulletproof vests all the way from their shins all the way up to ever getting shot by 9 millimeter bullets and still walking around. Um, Not exactly sure why no one shot him in the head, but you know, it is a pistol at that point in time. Um, Reality: while a vest may prevent bullets from penetrating, they don't protect you against impact, in which causes severe bruising, broken ribs, and internal injuries. Yeah, you can die from internal injuries. There's boxers that get ribs broken. There's football players that get ribs broken, and those ribs can lacerate kidneys and things like that. And internal bleeding becomes a challenge for you. Number 10 is immediate recovery after being shot. The character frequently gets shots, undergoes a quick surgery or first aid, and are back in the action within the end of the movie. Yeah, that's character frequently gets shot, undergoes a quick surgery. Yeah, it's pretty simple and easy. Yeah, it's just a bullet wound. It's just that bullet. Recovery from a gunshot can take weeks, months, or even longer, depends on the severity of the injury and the complications during recovery. So that's what bullets do. I thought it'd be kind of cool to just give you that information. And then we're going to go down, keep going on the other one. We were at ricochets. Ricochets are common and harmless. Let me just tell you, a ricochet is more dangerous than the actual bullet because you have no control over the ricochet. And people don't realize the bullet that ricochets the most is a 22 caliber. And that thing will ricochet all over the place. And it does inside the body too. Because it doesn't have enough gas to get out, but it does it's out enough to bounce around the body. So you could shoot someone in the chest, and that bullet could be down by your butt by the time you're done with it. In the movies, the bullet often ricochets off a surface and bounces harmlessly wherever. Realities: a ricochet can be unpredictable, dangerous, and potentially cause serious injury or death. Yeah, we've seen that, haven't we? Pistols are accurate at long ranges. Yeah, we've seen this before. Yeah. Hmm. The character grabs the pistol. He's standing in the street. The bad guy's driving his car. He's all the way down. He's 3 or 4 blocks away, and the bad guy shoots through the back window of the car and shoots the bad guy in the back of the head and kills him. And the car spills off into the ditch, and the bad guy goes up and saves the day. In reality, that bullet would be impacting somewhere on the ground, and the bad guy would be still driving away, not even realizing that you shot him. But in the movies, those bullets are heat seeking. They know exactly who to shoot, and they go after it pretty easy in real life. In reality, a pistol is designed for close range encounters and accurately diminishes accuracy diminishes significantly over distances. Now, that being said, there was a lady in Texas. She was a Texas Ranger, and there was a guy at 85 feet holding a firearm at a couple of the other Rangers. And this lady took a shot and knocked him, got him right in the middle of the forehead with a 9 millimeter from that distance. It can be done. I wouldn't say she did that, and she was out where she was aiming. She was probably aiming center chest, and probably just got lucky and got in the head. So pistols are designed for close range. If you want to shoot long range, you need to find a rifle or something that's going to work best for you in that scenario. Number 8 is cocking a gun or racking a shotgun for effect. This is a misconception for a lot of people. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a shotgun in your home and you're going to use the "I'm going to rack it to scare the bad guy away" mentality, well, first of all, you're telling me you have a shotgun in your home that's not loaded for you ready to use when you need it. So now you've got it unloaded in your home. I get it. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. But the moment you rack it the first time, you put one in the chamber. What happens if the bad guy did not hear it? Are you going to ask him, "Did you hear that shotgun rack?" Are you going to rack it again? If you rack it again, you're putting another round on the ground versus having one in the gun. And you may need that round that just fell on the floor. And then ask the bad guy again, "Did you hear that?" And if he didn't hear that, then you rack it again. So that becomes our scenario. So same thing in the movies. The bad guy will cock their gun to show they mean business, even when they are ready to fire before. So revolvers are very common in the movies where they cock it to let people know they mean business. The problem with cocking a revolver is it takes the trigger pull poundage down from about, let's say, just for giggles, 10-pound trigger pull to about 5.5 to 4.5 when you double action it. And then obviously, if you rack a slide with a shotgun, you're going to be doing that. You rack a semi-automatic to let them know you mean business. You're putting a round on the floor if it's not loaded already. So that kind of puts you in. In reality, cocking a gun that's already chambered a round doesn't do anything but waste rounds onto the ground. And this is kind of a misconception of people. They're going to mean business. And then number 9 is guns always fire when dropped. Now, this is a true misconception. Unless you have a SIG 320 from the past, allegedly, they had a drop problem when they first came out, and there were people that had dropped the gun and it had fired allegedly. I have never had that happen to me. There's plenty of people on the internet that tried to produce that. It didn't happen. And there are other people that can take a mallet and hit the back of the 320, and it would fire every time. Now, allegedly, that's the scenario. We'll leave it at that. Um, Firearms have drop safeties, sear safeties, mechanical safeties. Firearms do not normally fire when you drop them. Can it happen? Sure, it can. Can it happen like that movie where Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz, they're in some spy movie or something like that, and that Uzi goes down the stairs in slow motion, and as it's in slow motion, it is like the trigger's falling, and then it's falling down the stairs. And of course, not only is it missing Tom and Cameron Diaz, every other bad guy it's shooting because the gun knows who the bad guy is and who the good guys are, and it's not going to shoot the good guys in the movie because that's what the script is written about. And it goes down the stairs, and it goes down the stairs. Those two are trying to get the hell out of the way. And on top of that, every bad guy is getting shot in the room. I'm sure it happens like that. I'm almost positive that's exactly what that gun was supposed to do. But that was kind of one of those deals. I don't know the name of that movie, but I thought it was funny. Um, In reality, modern firearms designed with drop safeties to prevent accidental discharge from being dropped. This is very common. Doesn't matter which manufacturer, the high-end pistols or the low-end pistols, they all have these drop safeties, the sear safeties, mechanical safeties. Don't forget, most of your Glocks, your Smiths, Rugers, Tauruses, they all have some kind of frontal safety or wall safety, as well as a mechanic. If you're not engaging that trigger, they will not fire. This is my miss. This is the challenge of most new students: is they take what they see in the movies as a reality and what pistols do, and I think it's fun to make fun of this stuff. But in reality, most people learn how to shoot a pistol by watching the movies because they haven't had an opportunity to get to the range and shoot. I see it all the time when someone takes a pistol and does the old fishing routine. They take hands and they bring it out in front of them to look through it, or they're doing some kind of this with their hands to shoot the pistol because that's what they see in the movies. Remember, movie guns are props, which mean they have no ammo in them. Alec Baldwin had an issue with his, but that wasn't Alan's. To be honest with you, not that he's a great gun lover. He hates guns. He made a movie with guns in them. There's a lot of these actors that are gun haters, but make like Liam Neeson. He hates firearms, and he physically gets paid to make a movie in regards to firearms, and then he goes against and hates the thing about firearms, which is kind of a double standard bullcrap thing, like most of them over there. Anyways, but they watch the movies, and all those movie guns don't have any kind of recoil management. They don't even make a noise most of the time. That's all ad libbed in after the fact. They're boxed in. They're boxed in. If they got a gun on scene that shoots a cap or some kind of dummy explosion, it's normally done in a closed set and everything else like that. But technically, guns on the movie sets are just props as it is. Uh, uh, in modern firearms, like I said, drop safety, sear safeties, and all the things like that. We're going to cover uh, the ability. I think I doubled up on the bulletproof vest one because the two were the same, but the bulletproof vest itself uh, protects you from penetration, but wearing it can still hurt with blunt force trauma and serious injuries. So I want to know from you guys, what is your favorite movie gun or movie things? I know that Heidi and I spent an awful lot of time back in the day going to movies. And the more she got to shoot, the more she would whisper, "Look at that grip," or "Look at that stance," or "Look at that." Because you watch it on TV, you watch it all over the place, and you could physically see the people who have trained really well and understand how operate a pistol or how have shot before. Like I said, that John Wick movie is a pretty good a series of good gun work. It's physically, you can tell those guys that have been on that set had some time behind. We've seen the videos of Keanu Reeves, of what is her name, the 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 black lady. She physically did some training. They all had some ideas on what to do there. Uh, Definitely, uh, but you can get into some of these things. You know for a fact that you know go back to think about that shooting that happened to in that movie with the single shot pistol. Um, he may not have pulled the trigger. He may not have loaded that bullet, but him holding that trigger back and cocking that hammer made that revolver single, and then at that point in time it went off because that isn't double action, a single action. So even though he may not have been at fault in that, and I don't think they did find him guilty at that point in time, he physically was pointing the weapon. And this is the weird thing about that. Most of the time in these movie sets, if there's a gun being brought on set, it's being handled by the actor and the prop master with firearms, the armist, and nobody else in the place is going to touch it, see it, or feel it. And I don't think that happened in that movie because she had gotten in trouble a couple times with that. But it's part of that deal. And there you have it. 10, well, it was more than 10. Hollywood myths, just loving to get it wrong. But hey, why let them think that reality is the way it is for the good story? So next time you're watching an action flick, just remember a loud explosion, a quieter gun, a further from the truth. But who cares? The facts are you're having fun, the movie's cool, and you like it. Just remember shooting a pistol, you need to spend time and understand it. You need to be able to understand that it's just an inanimate object and it does nothing without you. You are the safety on all weapons. You are your own boss when it comes to that stuff. You run the tool does not run you. Getting yourself comfortable with a firearm is something that's simple and easy to do by taking a training class with a certified instructor. Obviously, that's what I do. If you'd like to sign up for one of our classes and you're locally here in Cape Coral, Port Charlotte, Lee County, Naples, or anywhere else like that, we do classes 7 days a week. You can visit our website and book one with us. We'd love to have you. If you are not from here and you still want to start learning, my suggestion is to get to the NRA or get to the United States Concealed Carry Association, put your zip code in, and look for a certified instructor in your area. If you can't find one in your area, talk to the gun stores or talk to the local gun range. I'm sure they have somebody that is qualified there. Once you go talk to them, visit them, look at their website, look at their YouTube channel, look at their physical Google reviews, and then pick someone you like and learn what you need to learn. We see what's happening in the world today. Owning a firearm is not something that you need to look at as a problem. You need to look at it as a solution, and it's your job to make sure that you take care of yourself and your family by owning a firearm to protect yourself. So let's go out of full screen here, and we will check any comments that we have. Welcome, Chris. Glad you're here, buddy. Hi. Chris says gun myths are true. Chuck, no, now, Chris, I did not say anything about Chuck Norris. Everything Chuck Norris does. Chuck Norris got bit by a cobra once, and then the only reason why it was once because the cobra died. So don't ever forget that, okay? Chuck Norris is totally different, all right? I didn't say anything about Chuck Norris, but thank you, Chris. Stan, welcome. Yes. Stan says, great point on dominant hand versus non-dominant hand. Thank you, Stan. And how could I forget Dirty Harry, buddy? Dirty Harry. Stan said Dirty Harry. To your point earlier, what drills do you recommend? Well, just being able to shoot the gun, rocket the gun, and be able to do it. I actually, on my YouTube channel, there is how to shoot a pistol one-handed, and then how to do it with your non-dominant. It's not about shooting the pistol. It's about loading the magazine. It's about racking the slide. It's about a lot of different stuff one-handed, and you got to work at it pretty well there. So I actually learned from a one-handed guy. He actually physically right handed. He came to me and said, "Can you teach me to shoot left